For this project, I dove into React Native, and of all the technologies we've used, this is the thing that I've connected with the most. I started by watching a crash course and reading through some of the documentation. Then to get started, I installed Xcode, which is Apple's integrated development environment. I installed Expo Go, which is an open source program for making native apps that allows you to write programs in JavaScript, which get translated to the native language of the destination platform. And I also installed a simulator that lets you see what your app will look like on different phones, tablets, and TVs. My first attempt at a project was to take a stab at building a game I've been wanting to make, but after banging my head against the wall for a day, it became clear that my lack of familiarity with native was going to make it essentially impossible for me to finish anything in the amount of time I had. So I decided to just step through slowly, learn as much as I could, and make as many components as clean, generic, and reusable as possible. I decided to explore the layout and how to get around in native by making a marketplace based on my recording and production studio, which in practice would be an absurd idea because no one pays for music, but it seemed like a sensible approach since it's the main thing I have pictures of. This is the welcome screen. Here I experimented with a few different views, image backgrounds, layout containers, styling, and created a separate button component with touchable opacity to which you can pass down an on-press handler as props. There's no backends to this yet, but I'll build that functionality out as I have time. This is the account screen. Right now it doesn't have any functionality. It's made up of these list item components, which you can pass props to for the text, the icon, and the background color. And it's a touchable highlight item, so if you pass in an on-press handler, it will give you visual feedback it's been pressed and execute the function. My listings and my messages are both list item components in a flat list, and this line here is a component that gets passed in as an item separator component that will only separate items but doesn't appear after the last item. Each of these icons is an icon component that uses the Material Community Icons library, and the name, size, background color, and color can be passed in as props. This is the listing screen. Each of these cards is an individual component where you can pass in the name, price, and image URL as props. And when you press on one of these, it will take you to this page where you can see a more detailed description of the product, plus the seller, or in this case, the artist, and any other products or albums that they have, and you'll be able to link from there. We'll move on to the messages page. In this case, you can see I use the separator component again, and these list items. On this one though, I passed in a handler, which at this point is just a console log, but by doing that, it activates the touchable highlight. So when it's pressed, you can see the visual feedback. And on this list, I set up refreshing. So if you pull down from the top, it will refresh to the new state. The view images screen doesn't really do anything yet. When you click on a thumbnail on one of the photos you've uploaded, it'll take you to this page and you can X out of it or delete it. Then this is the categories screen where you'll be able to filter through by category, which pulls up this modal. And you can choose whatever you want, and that will set to state. The email functionality doesn't really make sense on this page, but I was just experimenting with different inputs. Overall, I found the simulator kind of clunky, and debugging can be fairly difficult in certain cases, but I also think my system could probably be more optimized as well. So the next steps for this will be building out the back end, implementing the messaging system, and connecting with a payment system as soon as I have some free time, whenever that is. Certainly not a finished product, but I've really enjoyed working with native, and I actually think this might be where I put my focus. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.